The crowd went silent when Ton did the last thing anyone expected. Phones were already in the air, red lights blinking as people recorded. Some mouths were open. Some hands covered faces. A woman cried out, "Oh! Is this real?" Aisha stood frozen in the middle of the town square, her heart beating so fast it hurt. Her legs felt weak. Sweat ran down her back even though the evening breeze was cool. She had followed this man for months, quietly, carefully, thinking no one knew. But now everyone knew. Ton lifted his hand, and the noise stopped completely. He looked straight at Aisha. His eyes were calm, not angry. Then he took a deep breath and did something that made the crowd gasp again. Aisha felt her knees bend. No, he can't do that, she thought. Not here. Not like this. Before anyone could speak, before Aisha could even move, the sound of a siren broke through the air from the far end of the street. And that was when everything changed. 3 months earlier, Aisha was just an ordinary girl living in Sunvale Estate, a busy but friendly part of Ibadan. She sold phone accessories online, chargers, earphones, phone covers with bright colors. Her days were filled with deliveries, customer chats, and short videos she posted on social media. Life was not easy, but it was moving. Then she noticed Ton. He always passed her street at exactly 6:10 every evening. Clean shirt. Simple wristwatch. Earphones in his ears. He walked like a man who carried many thoughts but did not want to share them. The first day she noticed him, she thought nothing of it. The second day, she noticed again. By the 5th day, she was curious. "Who is that man?" she asked her neighbor, Mama Kemi, one evening as they sat outside. Mama Kemi adjusted her wrapper and squinted. "That one. He rents the small bungalow near the junction. Very quiet man. Always on his phone. Not troublesome." Aisha nodded, but her curiosity grew. Ton was not handsome in a loud way. He did not dress to show off. But there was something about him, how he smiled at children, how he greeted the security guard, how he stopped once to help an old man cross the road. Aisha began to watch him more closely. She told herself it was harmless. At first, she only watched from her balcony. Then she started timing her walks to match his. If he turned left, she turned left. If he stopped at the supermarket, she pretended to check prices nearby. Her heart would beat fast, but she felt excited. "This is not stalking," she whispered to herself one night. "I just want to understand him." But soon, watching was not enough. Aisha searched social media using clues. One clear photo. A reflection in a shop window. A name she heard someone call once. Ton. After many tries, she found him. His page was simple. Few photos. Quotes about hard work. One picture showed him standing in front of a tech office, smiling softly. Her chest warmed. She began to like his post. Then she began to read comments. Then she began to save his pictures. She knew it was wrong, but she could not stop. There were days she felt guilty. On those days, she stayed inside and focused on work. She prayed. She promised herself she would stop. But the next time she saw him walking past her street, her promise melted like ice under the sun. Aisha started following him further, into cafes, bus stops, and even once, to a community meeting. She always stayed far enough not to be seen. She told herself she was careful. She did not know someone else was watching too. One evening, Ton stopped suddenly during his walk. Aisha almost ran into him from behind. She turned quickly and pretended to answer a phone call that was not ringing. "Hello." "Yes, I'm coming," she said loudly. Ton glanced back at her, his eyes resting on her face for just a second longer than normal. Aisha's heart jumped. Did he notice me? She wondered. From that day, things felt different. Sometimes, Ton would stop and look around. Sometimes, he would slow down. Once, he even changed his route. Fear crept into Aisha's heart, but she pushed it away. He doesn't know, she told herself. He can't. Then came the message. One quiet afternoon, as Aisha packed orders into small brown boxes, her phone buzzed. A new message from an unknown number. Please stop following me. Her hands began to shake. She read it again. And again. Her mouth went dry. The room felt too small. She typed back quickly. I think you have the wrong person. The reply came almost immediately. I don't. Aisha sat down slowly. That night, she did not sleep. She cried, then prayed, then cried again. Shame wrapped around her heart like a tight rope. The next morning, she decided to stop. Truly stop. But stopping was harder than she thought. Days later, she saw a post online. A flyer shared in many groups. Community Tech Empowerment Event, this Saturday, Ton Adeyemi. Her breath caught. The event was happening at the town square. The same place where, months later, the crowd would fall silent. On Saturday evening, Aisha stood at the edge of the square, her cap pulled low, her heart heavy. Music played softly. People laughed. Children ran around. Then Ton stepped onto the small stage. The crowd clapped. He spoke calmly about technology, about choices, about watching people without understanding them. Aisha felt like he was speaking directly to her. Then Ton paused and looked into the crowd. His eyes found Aisha. He smiled sadly. My story today, he said gently, is about being watched, and what I chose to do about it. Aisha felt tears fill her eyes. She did not know that by the end of that night, everyone would learn why you should never stalk a man. And she did not know what Ton was about to do next. Aisha's chest felt tight as Ton continued speaking on the stage. His voice was calm, almost gentle, but every word landed heavily in her heart. When someone watches you without your knowledge, Ton said, it can feel confusing. You ask yourself many questions. Why me? What did I do wrong? Some people nodded. Others murmured softly. Aisha wanted to disappear. She took a small step backward, hoping to slip away quietly, but her feet refused to move. It was as if the ground itself was holding her there. Ton did not point at her. He did not call her name. Instead, he told a story. A few months ago, he said, I began to notice something strange. No matter where I went, I felt eyes on me. At first, I thought it was just my imagination. But soon, patterns became clear. Aisha's hands trembled. She remembered every turn she took behind him. Every time she hid her face. Every time she told herself it was harmless. It started small, Ton continued. Someone walking behind me. Someone standing too close. Someone who always seemed to be around. The crowd grew quiet. I asked myself, should I confront the person? Should I be angry? He paused and smiled faintly. But my grandmother used to say, before you break a pot, check what is inside. Some older people nodded at the proverb. So instead of reacting with anger, Ton said, I decided to understand. Aisha's stomach dropped. Understand? She thought. What does he mean? After that night, Aisha stopped going out for evening walks. She avoided the square. She stayed inside and focused on work, but her mind was restless. Messages kept coming from customers, but she replied slowly. Her thoughts were loud. He knows me. He has known for a while. 2 days later, another message came from the same unknown number. I hope you are okay. Aisha stared at the screen. Tears filled her eyes. Why was he being kind? She did not reply. The following weekend, Mama Kemi knocked on her door. "Aisha, are you sick?" the woman asked. "You have been indoors for days." "I'm fine," Aisha lied. Mama Kemi looked at her closely. "My daughter, when your heart is heavy, your body feels it too." That night, Aisha sat on her bed and thought about her life. She remembered how lonely she had felt after her last relationship ended. How empty evenings became when work slowed down. How watching Ton had made her feel less alone. "But that doesn't make it right," she whispered. 3 days later, Aisha decided to send a message. Her fingers hovered over the keyboard for a long time. Finally, she typed, "I'm sorry." The reply did not come immediately. When it did, it surprised her. "Thank you for saying that. Can we talk?" Her heart raced. They agreed to meet in a public place, a busy cafe near the main road. Aisha arrived early, her palms sweaty. She kept checking the door. When Ton walked in, her breath caught. Seeing him this close felt different. He looked tired, but peaceful. He ordered a drink and sat across from her. For a moment, neither of them spoke. "I didn't mean to scare you," Aisha said quickly. "I didn't even realize how far I had gone." Ton nodded slowly. "I believe you." She looked up, surprised. "I work in digital security," he continued. "I help people protect their privacy online and offline. So when I noticed I was being followed, I became alert." Shame burned her cheeks. "But," he added, "I also noticed something else. You never tried to harm me. You kept your distance. You looked lost." Aisha's eyes filled with tears. "I was lonely," she admitted. "Watching you made my days feel lighter. I didn't think about how it made you feel." Ton leaned back and sighed. "That is how many problems start," he said gently. "We think only about our feelings." They talked for almost an hour. About boundaries. About loneliness. About how technology makes it easy to watch people without knowing them. When they stood to leave, Aisha felt lighter, but also afraid. "I hope you can forgive me," she said softly. Ton nodded. "Forgiveness is a journey. I'm still walking it." As he walked away, Aisha felt something she had not felt in months, peace mixed with responsibility. She thought the story would end there. She was wrong. A week later, Aisha saw her face online. A blurry video from the town square had gone viral. People were guessing, pointing fingers, making cruel jokes. "She's the stalker. Girls like this are dangerous." Her chest hurt. That evening, the sirens returned to her mind, the same sirens from the shocking moment at the square. She remembered Ton lifting his hand. Remembered his calm eyes. Remembered the crowd gasping. She did not yet understand why he had done what he did that night. But soon, she would. And when she did, she would realize that Ton's final action was not about revenge. It was about teaching a lesson no one would ever forget. The next morning, Aisha could not leave her bed. Her phone kept buzzing. Messages. Missed calls. Notifications from people she did not even know. Some were kind. Many were not. She finally sat up and whispered, "God, please help me." Later that day, Mama Kemi came again, this time with worry all over her face. "My daughter," she said softly, "people are talking. But remember, noise is loud only for a short time." Aisha nodded, though her eyes were swollen from crying. That evening, a new video appeared online. It was clear. Not blurry. Not shaky. It was posted from Ton's verified account. The caption read, "Before you judge, listen." Aisha's hands shook as she pressed play. The video showed the town square again, the same night everything happened. But this time, It showed what the crowd did not fully understand. Ton stood on the stage, his voice calm. "I know many of you are wondering why I called the authorities that night," he said in the video. "Why I stopped my talk. Why I raised my hand." The video zoomed out. People could see it clearly now. "The siren you heard," Ton continued, "was not for punishment. It was for protection." Aisha covered her mouth. The video cut to another clip, Ton sitting in a quiet room, speaking directly to the camera. "I reported the situation not to shame anyone, but to create a record," he said. Because stalking, even when it starts from loneliness, can grow into something harmful if not addressed early. Then he did something no one expected. "I asked that her name be kept private," he said. "I asked that she not be arrested. I asked that this become a lesson, not a sentence." The comments exploded. "What kind of man is this? He protected her instead of destroying her. This is wisdom." Aisha collapsed back onto her bed, tears flowing freely, not from fear this time, but from deep emotion. The video continued. "In our modern world," Ton said, "we can follow anyone, track anyone, watch anyone. But just because you can does not mean you should." He paused. And to the young woman involved, he added gently, "You are not a monster. But your actions were wrong. Learn. Heal. Grow." The video ended. For a long time, Aisha did not move. That night, she slept peacefully for the first time in weeks. Days passed. The online noise slowly faded. New topics replaced old ones, as they always do. One afternoon, Aisha received one last message from Ton. "I hope you are doing better. Please take care of yourself." She stared at the screen, then replied, "Thank you for choosing kindness. I will never forget this lesson." She meant it. Months later, Aisha started a small online page where she spoke openly, without names, without shame, about boundaries, loneliness, and healthy connections in the digital age. Young people listened. Parents shared her post. And in Sunvale Estate, whenever people spoke about that strange night at the town square, they always ended with the same words. "This is why you should never stalk a man. Not because he might hurt you, but because the right man might teach you a lesson so powerful, so human, and so unforgettable, that it changes your life forever."